Hey there, Scott here from Chernobyl Studios, and welcome to the second episode of the Metal IR Hunter, not the other hunter that you're probably searching on a different website. Today, we're going to look at the Bommel Besa, which is a Mesa cab with a twist. But before I tell you more about it, let's have a listen to what it can sound like in a mix. There you have it. So these are the IRs that you just heard me use. Now, the interesting twist about these IRs, as you can see right here, they're created in an anechoic chamber. Very interesting. So yes, it is a Mesa, all right, it's a V30, but it's in this anechoic chamber. And what does that basically mean? It basically means we don't have to deal with a lot of nasty room frequencies that would get captured with all the different reflections and things like that. I know people will say, oh, it doesn't matter, Scott, if the microphone's right up against the cab. You're still dealing with reflections and all these different types of issues of being in a room. So being in a chamber such where there are no reflections, it's pretty interesting, and you can hear the results. That's a pretty smooth tone that we had there. So this is the page here. As you can see, very affordable, like criminally affordable. There's a link to these down in the description. By the way, it is an affiliate link. So, but yeah, it's super affordable. So basically, the whole idea of this is to get a true capture of the speaker, of what it sounds like in the entire speaker infrastructure, the cab itself. And this is what we have right here. Now, there are a lot of other cabs. There are different cabs in the anechoic chamber. I just chose the Mesa V30 because I'm quite familiar with that one. So just all the different microphones that were used, just all the different pieces of information you would assume to find. Plus there's a PDF, I believe that he has made available, or it's he sent it to me, so I imagine that you get it as well. What has this information also summarized in a nice single PDF, so you don't have to always open up the website. So this is the store page, really simple, easy to understand. Let's actually jump back into my demo because I got a little piece of information I'd like to show you. So here we are back in the demo. Now, if I make these tracks bigger, what do you notice about them? Yeah, they're not DI tracks. This is the very first time I've been able to test IRs with a real amp. You can't see it on the screen, it's right here. I have been sent an Engel Iron Ball E606 special edition, and it's awesome. There will be a video about that. I'm still getting to terms with it and working with it, but wow, it's amazing. So no amp simulator on this one, guys. This was tracked with a real amp. So, but the EQ and stuff like that, it's all the same. It's all the same of what you've seen me do in Guitar Tone Mastery 100 times. Nothing has changed. In fact, it's a little bit easier with the amp to work through the process. And so I just have EQ, multiband compression, the classic API move. This is literally how I get my sound. Also talked about a lot of that in Guitar Tone Mastery. And then just the limiter, and that's it. So it's just basic EQ. These are the IRs that I picked for this particular song. We'll go over the IRs a bit more in just a second. So the basic EQ, and that just runs through the guitar tracks, you know, getting to where there a little bit of extra EQ here when I summed all the guitar tracks. Same thing with the leads, just EQ, a limiter, and that's it. All right, and the EQ that I've done, as you can see, it's very minimal. Okay, very minimal EQ. This is, the API is always a character shaping tone for me a little bit. But I mean, I can solo these here. So if I take everything off except the cab loader, because that needs to stay on, it'll sound like this. So the API is doing quite a bit of work cleaning up the low mids. Otherwise, I'm just accentuating the sound that I got with the IRs, and that's literally all I did. Okay, quad tracked them because I wanted to play the amp more, so I quad tracked. Normally, I probably wouldn't quad track, but the drums are the standard thing. I typically use the Death Metal EasyX when I do these demos because it's fast and easy to use and very easy to EQ and process, which there will be a video out this week talking a bit more about this particular subject. Bass is low-key bass, which again, I'm just very used to using it. It's just go, 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 quick, quick, and that's it. And oh, the delay, by the way, that you heard in these solo tracks, that's from the actual amp itself. So yeah, that's all that's really happening in the mix. That's all I can really say. So let's actually jump to a different session and let's look at the IRs a bit more in depth. Okay, now I know what it sounds like in a mix. Let's go over some of these IRs a bit more in detail and individually. So here is what we're looking at. We have a different selection of microphones, and it's really interesting how these are all put together, aside from the fact that it's made within this chamber, so we don't have a lot of the room frequency resonances going back into the microphone and stuff. One thing to note is that they're all straight on the speaker, as far as I understand. There's not actually a bunch of different angles and off axes and stuff like that. The main thing to understand is there's a tilt EQ along with just the regular version of the microphone. And then there's a stereo XY microphone capture or a Jekyll stereo technique. Now, basically, I'm reading this and I'm going, okay, I don't know what it means. So this is where I let my ears do most of the work. So the process is pretty much the same. I'm playing through my Clearton leak bringer overdrive type of pedal into my brand new Ironball E606 SE. I'll take a picture and put it here in the video so you can see what's going on. And it's exactly the same. Just following my guitar tone master procedure. Everything's at noon until I find an IR that I like, and then I'll shape it from there. There's also a couple of microphones here that you aren't going to see very often, like the Hummingbird, you know, using the Rode NT4. I guess that's pretty, that's pretty usual. But the Octava, Audio Technica. So we have a couple of different microphone choices here that are not typical, right? Like there's no MD421 here. There's no 121, for example. We got different microphones, and it really helps that he took the time to describe the nature of the microphone. So if you wish to do any sort of renaming to the files or anything like that, you can just look here and it tells you basically what it all sounds like. That's all cool and stuff, but we need to play these and we need to understand what it actually sounds like with the guitar. So here we are. I'm just in Libra. I'm literally just going to play a couple of these. I always like to find an IR that isn't necessarily too bright in the beginning. If it's too bright in the beginning, then I'll try to find an IR that's darker. And really that's sort of my mode, as I try to blend two different IRs of varying types. Maybe one very bright, one very dark. But with this IR pack, we can use if we scroll down here, these Jecklins to basically add the room in a controlled manner to the guitar tone, which usually is very dark, and we'll be able to smooth out the guitar tone quite a bit. So let's go. Remember, everything is down the middle. Very well balanced. This is with the tilt EQ, so this version of the 112 should be darker, which it is. More full bodied a little bit. This one sounds really nice. This could almost work just by itself. Also pretty good. So the 2K is really nice and the 112 is really nice. Let's play a couple more. That's very dark. Darker. That's the 57. That should be good. Not bad. That one's really dark and smooth, which is important. Let's start building something. Let's start with the 112 here. So we'll keep this one. I'll engage another, and we'll go to the 2K if my eyes can read. Can't see it at the moment, so let's just pick this one. There it is. So let's go to our mixer. Pretty good result thus far. Let's see if we can put in one of these room microphones, see what that would do. So let's go to, I believe it's the Jacqueline that we want to do. We listen to only the Jacqueline. Yep, that's the room. So the Jacqueline is C, which is over here. So adding the room clears up the high-end fizz quite a little bit, and it makes the tone a bit more smooth. I'm really liking that. So now, all I need to do is adjust the tone stack on my amp, and I'll do it the same way that I always do it, like I've shown in Guitar Tone Master. That's pretty much good to go. So I'll take a picture of the settings that I ended up using, just a little bit of tweaking on the tone stack to shape it a bit more exact of how I like, but it all started with the IRs. I really like these IRs. They're, as I just showed you, pretty easy to get a nice tone. They're unique in that, you know, like I haven't done any EQ, and like every guitar tone needs to be EQ'd a little bit, but there's no electrical issues like in the actual impulse or anything like that. There's no nasty resonances somewhere that you're like, ugh, need to take care of that. They're very pleasant, they're very smooth, and they're quite nice. So yeah, very good to play with. That's to do it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. So the link for these is in the description below. Once again, it is an affiliate link. So big thanks to Bommel for sending these to me. I really enjoyed working with them. They are unique, and I hope he can do an angle cab. in this chamber in the future, I would be all about that. All right. If you guys have any questions, or if you pick these up, let me know what you think about them. Let me know in the comments and I'll check it out. Okay. All right. So pick them up. Have fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.